Hi everybody, my name is Craig Foster. I'm the founder of DynAlign Golf, and DynAlign is dynamic pre-shot alignment, and this can be applied to your putting and your chipping, and later on it can be applied to full shots. That's an advanced version, but right now we're going to focus on the putting and the chipping. This is something that I discovered a number of years ago. I've been in the golf club business for over 30 years. I was a contract club maker for Ben Hogan Company for 10 years. And so I had the yips when I was young, and it really destroyed me because I was really a passionate golfer. And through my work with golf clubs and understanding golf club design, and I also had a severe wrist injury, and so I learned about function of the joints from the doctors, and so putting those two combinations together, I was able to come up with this system where we stabilize the motion in the joints, this dynamic pre-shot alignment. So we're taking out a lot of the slack in the joints. We have wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, knees, and even the ankle joints can come into play on long putts where you're putting in a lot of power into the stroke. Your hips can move out of the way and destroy your alignment. So we'll get into all of that. I was discovered by Steve Elkington. This is a number of years ago when he was still playing on tour. And in our first year working together, he had two #1 rankings in putting on the PGA Tour. From 3 feet, he was 100% for the year. That's not uncommon. There's usually several players that do that. From 5 feet, he was 98% for the year, and that was 595 attempts, and he made 585 of those for a year on the PGA Tour using the DynAlign technique. So we'll get into the details here in a minute. It's something that could sound a little confusing to some of you. It is mechanical. Some people aren't very mechanically minded, and we're going to go into mechanics of the body here. But once you learn this system, you don't think about the mechanics anymore. You'll feel what the stable arc feels like and how stable that is, and it's just something that it'll become second nature to get into the alignment position for your putts and chips. And then it allows you to focus on distance control. Now this is the opposite of static alignment, which you see a lot on tour. A lot of players, the first thing they do when they're putting is to align the putter meticulously on the line and then step in and build a stance, and then they'll put the putter in motion. Well, they haven't really prepared all the motion, the potential for motion in the joints. So that's kind of like the archer aiming the bow and arrow before he pulls back the bowstring. It's difficult you don't want to take your final aim until you get everything stabilized. So that's what we do with the DynAlign system. We're going to go through some dynamic motion here, pre-shot motion, and get stabilized, and then we aim the putter as the last step before we put the putter in motion. And the advantage of that is that when you're getting ready to putt, you don't need to focus. After you've lined up the putter with DynAlign, then you can focus on your distance control. A lot of players get focused too much on the line. If you have a difficult downhill putt or some really big breaking putt, you have to really focus on the line, and then you forget about speed control because you can only think of one thing at once. So we want to get stabilized in our alignment so we can, after we've reached our final address position, then we can focus solely on distance control. And that allows us, because the system is so stable, it allows us to use our dominant hand as a force regulator. We're going to get the whole body in motion in the stroke. It's not just the hands, but you're able to regulate the force that's applied to the shaft with your dominant hand, because we've thrown balls, tossed balls all of our life with our dominant hand, and that's our best player for determining distance control. And so we're going to, DynAlign allows us to use our best player and just get the most consistency in our results. So if this seems a little bit confusing to you at first, just go slowly and learn it step by step, because once you learn it, all the mechanics will just they'll disappear, and you'll feel very comfortable in your alignment system, your setup, and you'll be able to get into that address position, and from then it's just feel and rolling the ball. And so we'll get into those drills on how to roll the ball to your target and how to get set up. So let's get started.